Hello guys, welcome to Rise of Patience. I'm here with tutorial number 3. This is a tutorial coming out after such a long time. I'm going to discuss about certain aspects of micromanagement. Basically, how can you take on battles against armies that are larger than your army? And how can you use the elements of the game to take the leverage and use it to your advantage? Well, some of it is going to be discussed in this video, so stay tuned. The first thing we are looking at is army stances. There are a lot of ways you can put your army at stances, and usually people would not care about stance, but if you want to be a professional player, if you want to be better at this game, well, stances are very important. This is a game between Mouse and Halen. I've even casted this one on my channel, and you can see that Mouse has put his army on stand ground. And when he sees that the opponent is attacking, he changes them to defensive. On stand ground, the army stay there, they don't move even if they're attacked, but on defensive they only move when they're being attacked. In such a situation, when the siege is doing its job of reducing the building, you don't need your army to go and run into the building and get under the city fire. So in such a situation, it's very good idea to have your army at stand ground. However, if you think that your opponent is going to attack, try to stop you, you could put them into defensive situation. So this is a great example of what to do in such a case. Mouse is only using his cavalry to distract these archers while keeping them as behind as possible. Now when he has to come ahead, he sends these army, but else he is only using his cavalry. On the other side, Halen is also using his archers in defensive position to make sure they don't run into the army, because obviously you can see Halen has much smaller army than Mouse's. So Halen's advantage is because it's his hometown. This city is being protected by the city fire, by the tower that's behind it, so he doesn't need large numbers. All he needs to do is not to lose his army, and that's why he has put them into defensive. Meanwhile, he's also personally microing the army. Same for Mouse. Mouse has put his cavalry on raid mode so that they are more eager to go and attack these archers which are trying to stop the siege, and meanwhile all the other units were previously on stand ground, now they are on aggressive since he is retreating and he'll come back later. By default, all the units should be at offensive, so that in case they don't wait to be attacked, they can attack whenever they want. But in such a situation where you are sieging the city, you want to put them in stand ground position. So this place, Mouse is back again, and he has all of his units under stand ground again, and these are in defensive. Actually, I think he must have forgotten to change them, and he's personally macroing them very likely. So you see what happens when you don't have your units under stand ground. These archers just ran into the city, and this could be really bad. Assume if Halen has some cavalry, these archers could die. So yes, it's always a good idea to have your archers back and let the siege do the reduction of the city. Similarly, when you want to raid, you want to have your units in the raiding stance. In the raiding stance, these units are extra eager to find out enemy units and kill them whenever possible. So raiding stance is also important, although you may not require it during army management. Well, raiding is also part of your battles. Raids are these small battles that you can need to win in order to win the big fight, so keep this in mind. Similarly, you can see Red Bull attacking Sherman in this game between Aztecs and America, and he has his units at stand ground. Meanwhile, siege reduces city. His units need not move; they just need to be around it to protect it whenever required. So remember, stand ground is probably the most useful stance after aggressive if you are playing this. And if you do not have these buttons, if you don't see this button, it's probably because you have the advanced options turned off. Right here at the bottom, there is a button that says advanced options. You click that and you will see these options become available. So make sure these are turned on. Everybody who wants to become good at this game should have them turned on. Being aggressive toward building, I think that stance is called raise. I have never seen anybody do that, so I'm not sure if it has any actual benefit, but you can always experiment and see for yourself what maybe you'll find some good use of it. Next, coming to the senator or the despot, whichever government you're picking. So senator has a very distinct role to play in this game. It can be the most important part of Rise of Nations. If you do not know how to play, how to use your senator or despot, well, you are losing half of the fun and half of the advantage that you could be taking. So here I have taken senator. The only difference between senator and despot in terms of their ability is that senator is able to bribe enemy units in friendly territory, and apart from that, it has all regular general powers. It can ambush and decoy. Ambush means it can hide completely. As long as the opponent does not have a lookout or scout, they won't be able to see anything that's within the radius of the senator. Decoy, that means it will create fake units that will look like they are real units, but they don't do any damage. Entrenchment, the senator can provide entrenchments to units so they stay at the same place, but they take less damage when they're being attacked. And then the most used part, forced march. Forced march is when you want to run towards something, you want to run away or you want to run towards your enemy. This is what you're going to use. But one of the most used powers for the senator is going to be bribe. For any other general or despot, it's going to be forced march. So let's see. Right now in this game, I'm against Red Bull, who is Aztecs. Aztecs are easily known to be the most aggressive nations, or at least one of the most aggressive nations. Here, I have this almost dead hoplite and the senator, and he has 3 units there. So I use the bribe ability to drive him away from my territory. And you can see how powerful this ability is. He has 3 units, yet he has to run away. He cannot take this battle because the only way to stop me is either to kill the senator or to run out of my territory. So you have to make sure that you always use the bribe ability if you're going for senator. This is an amazing defense, and it's great when you are fighting off against few units, so it can hold on its own. However, you can also use your senator's bribe ability in the middle of battles. So this is the same game that I showed before between Halen and Mouse, and there's a big army coming from Mouse here, probably bigger than Halen, and Halen goes for bribing one of these heavy cavalries. And just by taking one cavalry, these guys had Mouse had a bigger army for sure to begin with, and just by taking that one cavalry, Halen has tipped off the balance, and that's going to be helpful in fighting off Mouse's army. So you can use this senator's bribe ability even in the middle of the army, not just to defend raids. So this is one of the best abilities if you're going for senator. This should be one of the reasons to go for it. Apart from the extra economic bonus, the healing, and the armor bonus which it provides to nearby buildings, the bribe is one of the best things to use here. Next, coming to the ambush ability. Ambush lets you hide your units to give it a surprise element. Here, Prolase and I are trying to double Gunalan right here. And Gunalan has a scout, but the scout doesn't have a very high line of sight. So, according to him, he sees that Prolase is coming to attack here. However, he's just going to find out that I'm also there, and we're going to trap his army there and give him minimum time to react. And this is the best part about ambush. So I first use one of my nomads to kill off the scout so that he cannot find us, and now suddenly my army appears. So ambush can be really useful as if you can make it use. And so yeah, that's one of the great powers, and you should use it whenever you can to give it the surprise element. Here is another example of using ambush. You can see Zosimus is being sieged down by Dave, and you can only see these 3 siege units that are taking Zosimus' city. And Zosimus is almost sure because Zosimus has got attrition and Dave has got senator. Now all these units are ambushed. Zosimus cannot see it. So he has no idea that this city could possibly be taken. He has tower behind it, and he's also building a lookout, but the lookout is a little late, and that's the power of ambush. Dave takes the city in a snap. And remember, if Zosimus knew that the army was coming, he would have his militia close to the city. He would have his army close to the city, making sure Dave does not take it easily and loses a lot of units to attrition. But through this ambush, Dave just took it like in a snap, and he did not lose any time. Now this is a neutral territory, and he is no longer receiving any attrition damage. So this was another great tactic where ambush can be used to take your opponent's city. Well, next, coming to force march, as I said, this is one of the most used ability of any general. And in this game, there is Kage and Hockey Star fighting with each other. They have decent sized armies, although Kage has a bigger army. Now, what force march does is, force march increases the movement speed of your unit. So any unit that's within the range of the monarch or the general that's using the force march, they're going to be running much faster. So that faster running speed is going to be useful when you want to counter territories and counter their units. Now you can see Cage has just used the march ability, and now his units are moving faster. And this is one of the most typical ways of using the march technique. When you are right into the battle, and you know this is the final battle. If Cage wins this, that's it. Hockey Star is going to lose this game. And so you want to give your units the leverage of speed, and that's where you go for force march. And that does help a lot. If you did not know, Hockey Star also used force march. So both of them were using force march, and it turns out that Cage has won this game. Then we have the Entrench ability. In order to entrench, the first requirement is that your units should not be moving while you're entrenching them. So it's a good idea to keep them in the stand ground, then click on Entrench. Now what Entrench does is, it provides these barriers which reduces the attack coming from the front. However, any damage from the flank is still taken to 100%. So in case you are behind a city and you know that the opponent is going to attack from the front, well, this is a great way to reduce the damage. However, it can be countered by cavalry that can run from the sides. Also, if your units move in between, so if I was to move these units, suddenly the entrenchment breaks. So this is a not very frequently used technique. However, it's circumstantial. If you find a time when you can use it, well, yeah, go ahead. And then coming to decoys. Now decoys is still very much preferred, and it's done a lot in nomad games. What decoys does is, it creates fake units. So to an enemy it will look like these are real units, but you can see that they're just shadows. They're not going to deal any damage, and they will disappear in one attack. However, it makes your army look big, and if your opponent is either too busy worrying about defense or he doesn't notice, he can easily miss out on these decoys, and he can think that these are real armies. So decoy is a great way to to exaggerate your army size even if you don't have anything. Now another thing that general, the senator or the despot provides you is the armor bonus. Every unit that's close to the senator or any general gets this armor bonus, and this armor bonus allows these units to survive longer in the battle. This is more important than I can emphasize on. Always take a general with you whenever you're going into battle. Some players even like to raid by keeping their raiding units with a general, so that these raiding units last long. So after all the things I told you, you can probably understand that the despot or the senator is very useful unit. So next point is assassination. You want to try to assassinate the enemy's despot or senator as soon as possible so that his nearby units no longer have the advantages. So in this game, Thurman is going into the enemy territory. Of course, Iroquois units are hidden, but the despot is not. And first thing he does is takes it out. And you can see what happens right here. The moment he takes it out, Red Bull does not take this fight. The Red Bull, even though Red Bull is going to lose some units, he just wants to run back because without a senator, he is going to lose all of these units, if not some of these. And he waits for his senator to come back before he can take the battle. And the senator is back, and now he goes and tries to attack Sherman. So this is a very common strategy. Make sure to always try that you can assassinate your opponent's senator or the government leader. Similarly, in this game, I'm playing against Duzzles, and I have a small army here. And what I do is, I know that he's trying to pick off my elephant, so I lure him with my elephant and then assassinate his senator. So with that assassination, I get 100 wealth. I lose some units, but it's fine. That 100 wealth is going to be very useful for making scholars or just making more elephants. At the same time, he does not have a senator for a while, so if I want to do a counterattack, for example, I have the siege ready, I could attack it right away, and he won't have the power of senator for some time. Next, let's talk about armor. Armor is this number that appears after the shield sign when you click on a unit. You can see this unit has an armor of 0 plus 4. The number that appears after plus is what the general is providing. Here the general is providing 4, and this is by default it's a 2 armor. You can see Boo has an armor of 2, while Surge in purple has an armor of 4. This is because he's Romans and he's got that instant upgrade the moment he researches military level 3. For any other civilization other than Romans, you need to first get the military level 3, and then you need to get a castle where this upgrade is available. However, for Romans it's instant. So Surge has a bigger advantage right here. He's fighting with big armor without even getting a castle, and since he's attacking so early, that Boo does not have a chance to build his own castle and get the upgrade. So Boo is fighting an uphill battle right here. And in similar cases, armor can make a big difference. These armor upgrades are available in H2, H4 and H6 once you perform the military level 3, 5 and 7. So make sure you do not forget this. This is battle tactics 101. Every round player should know this, because if you do not go for the armor upgrade, you are very likely to lose the battle, even if you have the same army size as your opponent. And this is the part 1 of my micromanagement tutorial. I'll be coming with the part 2 very soon. So let me know what you want to watch in the second part. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.